welcome to the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. Today I have two things I'm going to be talking about. First, I'm going to talk about a show that I just attended a few weeks ago here in Boston. I will tell you how amazing this show is and the performers that we've seen. And the other thing, it's Pride Month still as I'm recording this, and I want to talk about a few news topics that are out in the news, both positive and negative. So let's kick off with this show that I seen at City Winery in Boston. So me and my husband went on a Wednesday night to see Niki and Donna. And Niki and Donna are Madonna's backup singers and dancers, and they were featured in a movie called Truth or Dare. So I think Truth or Dare came out maybe in 91 or 92, probably 92, because I was a freshman in college, I believe. Um, or maybe yeah, it was 92, or maybe it was late 91, because I remember going with someone that I worked with, in retail, and we went to go see this movie after work at the mall I worked at in Miami. And, it was again, I was 19 years old, and I was questioning my sexuality at that point. I wasn't sure if I was gay, if I was straight, if I was bi. I wasn't sure quite what I was. And I was, really trying to figure it out. And seeing this movie, Truth or Dare, really helped me in some ways because if you've seen the movie, which I can quote almost the entire movie as I watch it because I've seen it over 100 times, there are a group of Madonna's dancers, and I think all but one of them are gay. And so they're following them through this movie, and um, Nikki and Donna are main characters in the documentary as well. And just seeing them in person and being able to meet them meant so much to me, not just because I'm a huge Madonna fan, but just because I really think that those 2 are soulmates in a certain way. So they're not lesbians, they're straight women, but they're soulmates in just a different way as friends, and they're just I think they even said something like that in their show. Their voices are amazing. It was a spectacular performance. City Winery doesn't have a it's not a huge it was an intimate setting. It was a Wednesday night, so it wasn't totally packed, which I liked. And we were sitting very close to the stage. They were interacting with the audience, and it was probably 85% gay men that were there, of all ages, because there was a couple of guys that were in their early 20s, and I'm thinking, are they Madonna fans, or how do they even know who Nicki and Donna are? But they clearly knew who they were. Everyone there was having just a great time. They sung both some Madonna songs, like they did "Rain" because they were part of the recording of "Rain," and, they also sung some of their own songs. So, I realized after going to this, show to see them that they both have their own recordings. And so check out Spotify is where I've found some of their songs, and it's really kind of amazing that, they have had their own solo careers, and have listened to their songs many times now since seeing the show, and they're really amazing. They're so amazing together, though, I would say, because their voices just complement each other so much. So I was thankful that my husband agreed to go with me to this concert because he's not always loves the type of music I love, but he had an amazing time too. Um, I paid a little extra for a meet and greet afterwards, where you're able to take pictures with them and just kind of, you have your 1 minute to kind of talk to them or whatever. And there was a line of people behind me, so whenever they came out, I took a couple of pictures with them, and I remember telling just both of them like when I was 19, you just kinda helped me realize who I was in so many ways. So I think I started coming out to a few friends whenever I was, shortly after that, after I mean, not maybe right after seeing Truth or Dare, but it made me think about it, and, maybe a year later, I ended up coming out and definitely feeling more comfortable with myself. Probably after seeing that movie is whenever I went to a gay bar by myself whenever I was 20, and just trying to explore who I was. So I think both Nikki and Donna, as part of that show, Truth or Dare, really kind of helped me in a lot of ways. And I just wanted to tell them that, it meant a lot to me. And it sounds cheesy, and I sound like such a fanboy, but I really do remember like thinking about, wow, there are other people that are like possibly like me out there. And there was a famous scene in Truth or Dare where the dancers were in New York at the Gay Pride Parade, and I remember they were yelling, "We're here, we're queer, get used to it." And it just made me realize, seeing all these people in this parade and on the streets, that there are so many people that are gay. Because growing up in Miami in the '90s, of course, there were gay people, but it was nothing like it is today where it's open. And it was a very, Miami is a large Latin Cuban culture. And now Miami's become a very Republican culture because of uh, the way Florida has turned red. But it wasn't super accepted being gay, and there weren't people coming out like that in the early '90s. So I just think that that movie just really helped me, and I think that every gay person probably has something in their life, whether it's a person or a movie or a song or something that maybe just kind of helps them a little bit feel better and know that they're not the only one. So, and Truth or Dare with Nikki and Donna happened to be mine. The last thing I'll say is that I brought a necklace with me. I got it at this store when I was out in Los Angeles. It wasn't super expensive, maybe a $400 or $500 necklace, like this beaded necklace, but I really loved it. And I brought it that night to give to Nikki. But when I did my meet and greet, I kind of like thought she would think it was cheesy. And so I walked out after my took my photo and had a minute long talk with them, just telling them how much I loved them. And I walked outside as we were waiting for our Uber, and I told Andrew, I'm like, just give me a second. And I ran back in and I took the necklace off and I put it around Nikki's neck. And I just said, "Oh, this is for you." She was so appreciative of it. I sent her an Instagram message when I got home that night, just telling her how much I loved the show. And I really enjoyed it so much and how much it meant to me. And she wrote back and she ended up following me on Instagram, and it just made my year. So she was so amazing. So follow them on Instagram. So it's Nikki Niki and Donna Donna, and that's their Instagram name. Follow them. They have some great stuff. And let me just say, if you have an opportunity, if they come to a town near you to perform, do not hesitate. Please go out and see them. I promise you will thank me. The energy in that audience was so amazing. The energy that they have on stage and their talent. I mean, they are so talented. They're so beautiful too. I mean, I have no idea how old Nikki and Donna are, but Nikki's skin is flawless. Donna's skin is flawless. I mean, they look beautiful. They're just so amazing. So I can't say enough good things about how talented they are, but I think you get the point. If you get a chance, please go see them and write me and tell me what you thought. I think you'll thank me for doing that. So, well, that's my Nikki and Donna story. Next, I want to talk about some LGBTQ news that's coming out. As I'm recording this, it's the middle of Pride Month, and there's a lot of stuff coming out. So, some positive and some negative. So, I'm going to start with Sarah McBride. So, Sarah McBride is the first transgender woman that could possibly hold congressional office. And her opponent, who just dropped out of the primary, and that gives her more of a chance to possibly get elected. And she's running in a blue state, which is in her favor as well. It's also Delaware, which is Biden's home state, so that gives her a bit of an advantage. And she's friends with President Biden, so it's looking good for her. But if you're living in Delaware, go out and vote for her, because there's a lot of trans rights being discussed in Congress, and having somebody like Sarah McBride in office could definitely kind of help sway some of these policies and laws and bans that the Republican Party is looking to put out there. So go and vote for Sarah, support the community, um, and then kind of following up with something that's not so positive. Of course, my home state of Florida is back in the news, and if you can just guess why, it's because of something with LGBTQ rights again. So, Ron DeSantis has said that he does not, or his administration has said that he does not want to have rainbow flags, colors, or any type of colors on bridges all the way from Jacksonville to Miami Beach. There is no rainbow flags, and they're doing this ban starting May 27th through September 2nd, because they didn't want to make it too obvious that they were doing this just for Pride Month. And but they have banned it. They only are allowing red, white, and blue, which is the American colors, to be part of this bridge colors now. So Uh, Pretty sad that they're doing this. I remember whenever I lived in Miami and you would drive across um, from the mainland from Miami over to Miami Beach, you would see some of the bridges that had rainbow colors. And they are now making this ban. So no more of that. Ron DeSantis wants to really just make sure that the Rainbow and Pride Month is not being celebrated. He's so anti LGBTQ plus, and unfortunately, that's a ban that happens. I'm embarrassed to say I grew up in Florida sometimes just because of that. And a little bit more positive news. There was about 150,000 people in South Korea that went and it had a pride parade or pride festival. So what happened is that there are parade organizers that are in South Korea. They went to the South Korean authorities. They tried to get I guess, a permit or get permission to do this. They were denied it, but still, 150,000 people in the LGBTQ plus community and their allies showed up. They did it right in Seoul Plaza, which is right in City Hall, where it was at previous years, and they had it, and they had a great time doing it, and it looked like it was pretty peaceful. The only negative thing that happened is that a few streets away from City Hall, there were these Christian groups that were there holding up signs saying no to same-sex marriage. They were saying the country was built with blood and sweat, and homosexuality is collapsing the country. So sad that that's what Christian protesters are focusing on. Whenever Christians are supposed to love everyone and support everyone, but they're worried about people celebrating who they are and not bothering anybody. But that's not surprising at all. Um, there is a show, kind of staying in the Asia area. Um, there is a show called Friends, and uh, kind of sticking with what we were talking about in the Asia Pacific region, Netflix is coming out with a new show called The Boyfriend. So, this show will have 10 episodes that will be released over a 4-week period. It's going to focus and follow 9 men that are looking to find love. They're going to be living all together in a beach house called the Green Room. I read one article that said it's a little Jersey Shore-ish in Japan, and they're all going to also work for different work for. So staying in kind of the Asia Pacific area, there is a new show coming to Netflix. It's going to be Japan's first queer dating show, and it's called The Boyfriend. So the show is going to have 10 episodes that will be released over a 4-week period. They're going to follow these 9 men that are looking to find love, and they're all going to live together in this beach house called the Green Room. A couple of things that I read, it sounds they're comparing it a little bit to being at Jersey Shore-ish a little bit. I can't imagine Jersey Shore in Japan, but I'm definitely going to check it out. But they're all going to work different shifts at this coffee truck, and it's going to concentrate on not just them finding love, but also how they are together as being friends and just following this group of friends around. I will say that same-sex marriage is still illegal in Japan, but there have been 2 recent court decisions that have, separately been labeled as it is giving people same-sex couples, it is unconstitutional because they don't have the same rights as everybody else. So it sounds like maybe Japan is going in the right way for same-sex marriage, so let's hope so. Another not so positive news from another state is that the Colorado GOP has called for LGBT. Another state in the United States, which is being very negative towards the LGBTQ plus community, has come out and called people and the LGBTQ plus people godless groomers, and they are asking people to burn pride flags. So a mass email was sent out from state Republican Party, and then it featured an anti-LGBT sermon from a pastor, Mark Driscoll. So, I just it's just sad to me that the GOP of Colorado is focusing on burning pride flags and are anti-LGBTQ plus. I mean, there's nothing else that they can focus on. Seems like the world's in a there's a lot worse things in the world happening than somebody being themselves and flying a pride flag. But hey, what do I know? In some positive news, a poll was just completed by the LA Times. So, this same poll was done 40 years ago almost, and it was conducted by the University of Chicago. So, this is an update to that poll 40 years ago, and it is showing that many of Americans approve of trans and non binary people living how they want to. So, back in 1985, when the survey was originally uh, put out, 24% of survey takers admitted to personally knowing someone who had come out as gay or lesbian. So that's a pretty small amount of people. Only 24% of the people that took that knew a gay or lesbian person. Seems very small. However, today that same question was asked, and 72% of people said that they knew a gay or lesbian person. And out of that, 27% said they know a transgender or a non-binary person. So the community is making progress. That's, you know, almost 50 points up, 50 percentage points up from where we were in 1985. Also in 1985, 64% said they would be upset if their child was gay or lesbian. And get this, today, only 14% said they'd be upset. So we still have a little bit of room that we need to do. We still have a little bit more room to grow, but we're 14% of people, where it was 64% said they'd be upset in 1985. So we're making it. We're improvement is happening. And also 80% of the survey takers said that they all right, let's do this one over. And then in some positive news, a nationwide poll from the LA Times conducted by the University of Chicago just updated results from when this survey was taken nearly 40 years ago. So, what the survey overall came back with is that a majority of Americans now approve of trans and non binary people living as they wish. So, back in 1985, 24% of these survey takers admitted to personally knowing someone who would come out as gay and lesbian. So, 24% of people said they own. I mean, that just shows you not a lot of people were out and they were hiding, which is very sad. However, that number has greatly improved, almost 50% more. So today, that same question was asked, and 72% have said that they know a gay or lesbian person. I'm not sure where the other 28% of people are living, that they don't know somebody that's gay or lesbian, but supposedly they don't. The other interesting thing is that out of that number, 27% of people say that they know a transgender or non binary person. I wish that number was higher, but I think we're making an improvement because we went from people knowing a gay person, 24% to 72% of people knowing a gay or lesbian person. So let's hope when they do this in another 40 years that those numbers are at 100%. Also, really good result in 1985, 64% of people said they would be upset if their child came out as gay or lesbian. That number has decreased so much, it's only 14% of people said that they would be upset if their child was gay or lesbian. Huge progress there. Let's keep working on the 14%. I mean, I know there's still people out there that if their child came out, they would stop talking to them or kick them out or have nothing to do with them, kind of completely cut them off. But I really feel like that's real progress being made. And then also, 80% of the survey takers said that they somewhat or strongly approve of gay and lesbian people living as they wish. So 67% of those same people said the same thing about trans and non binary. I wish those numbers were closer to 100%, but I will take it because it's definitely an improvement than what it was almost 40 years ago. And then my last story is about the Pope. I reported on this a few weeks ago, and he has done it again. The Pope has once again, this time behind closed doors, has used the word fag in Italian. So he's used the F slur once again. He was saying that everyone is welcomed in the church, but I mean, the Pope really needs to learn his lesson. The Vatican has issued another apology, saying that he doesn't mean it that way, but he has to really learn that that is not a proper word to use. So let's give him one more chance and stuff. I mean, he's definitely more liberal than previous popes, and let's see how it goes in the future. Maybe he learned his lesson this time. So, well, that's the gay news. Again, follow Nikki and Donna on Instagram, see their show. Follow me and my podcast. Make sure you subscribe, and I appreciate you for listening. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye, everybody.